Jum.
Hey everybody, Jummington back again with another exciting episode of Jumcraft. It has been too long, let me tell you. This winter has been cruel. I got some snow days from work. I was excited about that, except for the fact that it was freezing. It was sub-zero temperatures. I was dying down here. Made a lot of progress on this, so let's jump in here and check it out. Don't want to go right in there yet. Don't want to ruin the surprise. Here's my arcane research and repair. The little area I've got for enchanting. I don't need the full complement of bookcases in here because I doubt I will be doing a lot of level 30 enchants, but we'll see when the new enchanting system comes out. Because that's right, my progress has been so impeded that there's actually new snapshots out now. They're already talking about 1.8. I feel like I just started playing around with 1.7. And enchanting is getting a big overhaul. So is villager trading. So are a lot of things. And, you know, I don't like to screw around too much with the snapshots in my main world. But I did play around with a little bit. I'm sure you saw my video about the chicken jockey issue, which as of the latest release, it's like the second week release that still is operating the same. So it remains to be seen if they'll fully fix that chicken jockey thing. But there's a lot of other stuff out there, tons of people doing videos on it, tons of information out there. They can put it much more succinctly than I am. The short version is lots of stuff that affects me will change. A little repair station. Don't know what I'm going to do back in here for decoration. I don't want to make it out of this quartz. I like to make it a little bit different in here, but this is basically what it's going to be. This will be the storage area, the spider collision byproduct storage. I forgot I called it that. And I've got the item sorting components all in this box here. I just haven't constructed it yet because I've been working on other stuff, other things that I found more exciting. That's a real simple fix. Just roll that in and have the sorters off of there, probably down the chain there, and then spin them up into there. Should be pretty straightforward. And this has worked well enough for me now. I'm not building up huge amounts, and I'm just selling off all this string like as soon as I get it. This took a lot of quartz. This ender chest was completely filled with quartz ore, and then plenty more, because it took a lot of quartz to finish all this off. So let's take a look at these beautiful walls I've got going on here. I really like this. I really like the look of this. I can't even remember if my last episode showed any of this at all. Originally it had like 4x4 stair blocks, or 4x2 instead of 3x2. But the 3x2 fits the pattern better, and if I need to make a passage out of any of this way, I can just cut out the stairs and have a nice 3x3 opening in it. But it took a lot, because quartz, the stairs, this is the same for all stair blocks, it takes 6 blocks to make 4 stairs, so you lose out on 2. And even with a fortune pick, I'd be lucky if I could get, I'm going to say out of a full stack of quartz ore. I think I got like 2 and some change stacks, like 140 quartz ore out of it. So it took a while, and I got a pretty good like process going in the Nether for digging that stuff out. Just dig down below the lava lakes and pound it through with some fire resist potions, and it was working pretty well for me. Not super exciting. That's why we're not down there right now. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this. Glass that off, like the look of it. Really pushing it with these lights, because there's just a torch behind the stair block there. And while it looks lit up, it really doesn't add to the light levels out here, so I have to put this floor lighting in, which I like. I also like having access to both sides here with the door. I tried to keep it as lined up as symmetrical as possible. Oh, did I just take that door out? Oh, I must have. I don't know if I plan on coming back here and putting another door in or what. But it made more sense, I think, to have the door over on this side anyway. This was easier access to like the shut-off switches and everything, rather than having to hop across all of that. So there we go. And I flushed all these off with these. I don't know what I liked more, this or the stone brick. I guess I just didn't like because of the stone brick ceiling. I wanted some variety. I wanted it to look all neat and scientific. And now, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's too much. Tell me what you think. This still works beautifully, by the way. Still love that thing. But what I'm working on now is a pretty big thing for me. Pretty big redstone. Friends, don't want to fall down there. Pretty big redstone deal. See, I got this big pit dug out here, and this is going to house the redstone circuitry for an automated potion brewing station. This will be the pharmacology wing, where I grow and develop all the things I need to make the potions for my spider collision research, which, of course, is the Harming 2 potion. Or not Harming 2, Harming Splash potion. I don't need to make them Harming 2. That's a bit of overkill. And I've already built the main heart of it, the central part. I don't think you need to see how to build these things again. You should probably know from the previous episodes how to construct these. Your basic flip-flop. I've built these many, many times. And then that feeds through this block into this, which disables a hopper clock. And there's one slippage. There's always 1 to 2 slippage in that. But basically, I've just got 3 full stacks and then 12 blocks. And that is timed out long enough to allow 1 full run of the potions for 4 ingredients, which is netherwort, and then spider eye, and then fermented spider eye, and then gunpowder. Because potion stands, the brewing stands, don't know when they're finished. It's not like the oven, or furnace, if you will, that automatically removes smelted items as they're smelted. If you put a hopper under this, it'll just drag out anything you put in it. And same if you have a hopper feeding into it. It'll just continually cycle through. So, you have to use a timer. And so what I've got is this is timed out. I've tested it. To allow enough time with 3 stacks and 12. And I can't run those numbers in my head right now. I'm thinking about other stuff. That's enough time for it to get through all those components. And then this will flip off and allow that to go through. So basic idea, I turn on this flip-flop, which starts the timer going, which turns on or off some hoppers that allow the potion brewing components and the water bottle to feed into it but not get pulled out. And then they brew, and once they're finished, that timer runs out, which allows the hopper underneath the brewing stand to pull them out and send them up that way, and that's where I will collect them up there. And this seems like a lot of room. There's a lot to this. And there's a lot of optional extra stuff. So I'm just going to start with this. And I'm trying to keep everything on differently colored stained clay. The different parts of the circuit. To try and make it a little clearer. So I've got this raw stained clay. Is the flip-flop. I'm using the white stained clay. Which is actually looks more like a flesh tone. Kind of pinky. This is just kind of interconnect circuitry. You can see it's connecting through that, and of course down there. And what this does, just like in the Spider Collider timer, once this flips over, that temporarily deactivates that redstone dust, which turns this on for a quick second. Going through this repeater set to 3 ticks, sends a quick pulse into this block, which resets the flip-flop, turns the whole thing off, and there you go. And so what we need now is the circuit that will control the brewing. So I'm just going to start constructing that out. I've built this, torn it down, built it again, torn it down again. It's kind of how I got the size down. I may still have to make some adjustments. But you have to forgive me if this is a little unclear. It will make more sense as this goes on. So we're just building now. We got this repeater coming off of that circuit, coming from the flip-flop line. Feeds into a block with a redstone torch. Get the power off of that by dropping a block on top of it, and then we power it with redstone dust. That's how it transfers to that. And then we want to put a block on this. And we're going to put some more blocks on that. Don't need this block. We just need a repeater there. And a block right there. And we're going to grab our hopper right now. And we're just going to drop the hopper right there. It's going to be pointed down, or at least pulled down. And we can go ahead and put our brewing stand. And this is where the actual brewing takes place. is right here. So this is where everything is going to feed into it. So go ahead and drop. What am I juggling around here for? Go ahead and drop our hopper into this. Kind of tricky because of the weird hitboxes of this. Kind of tricky to get that all together. And so, go like this, and we got to get the power over there. So we go ahead, block on top just like we did down there. And that should keep that inactive. So let's see. I can drop that in there, won't fill. And there, it's gone in. It's actually already dropped into the bottom hopper. So we can get that. Get our fire resist potion back. And so that's the basic operation of that. Go ahead and put a hopper on top of you. So we can do a quick test of this and show you just the timing portion of it. So if you can follow this circuit while this is turned off, which off on this is actually on. If the flip-flop is on, the system is off. So while that's the case, the bottle feed hopper is deactivated. It will not feed bottles into the brewing stand. The brewing stand evacuator, so I'll call this hopper, is active. So this will pull anything out. And when you flip this on, that toggles so that nothing gets pulled out and it will feed bottles in. All that good stuff. Let's get some bottles here. Let's just get everything we need. This. I need some water there. Just take some quick water out. Fill up 3 bottles. And we'll just put the 3 bottles of water in there. You can see they're not flowing in. Now obviously this is not really ideal here in terms of, you know, accessing this stuff. But we're not done yet. Not by a long shot. So we'll go ahead and drop in order. 1 of each. Now you don't want to put more than 1 in there, because that's the other thing. If I put more that in there, more nether wart, it just pulls all of it in a group at the same time. And now I've done it. But it will pull them out in order, as long as you don't have multiples. So now we're set. It's ready to go. No water bottles in there. Go ahead and flip this on. Tower up so we can watch this at work. And wait for this to finish, and it should wrap up just as the timer is rolling. And so you should see just as this finishes up the last step, it will pull out those potions, and then we'll know we can move on to the next step, and this is all set to go.
Brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions. Gotta get the potions, gotta get the potions, brewing potions, brewing potions, brewing potions.
And there we go. Wrapped up. All ready to go. Splash potion of harming. Great. Let me just go ahead and put those elsewhere for the time being. Now you could add some additional circuitry to it that will allow you to toggle different types of ingredients. It just adds a little bit more complexity to it. But you could still have it feed in there in the same way. That is your basic timing setup that you are going to have to do if you want any kind of automated brewing. You're going to have some kind of setup like this, because it won't do it on its own. Damn it. Now the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need to get this signal up there. And I'm putting all that stuff. My redstone dust. We're going to need to get this signal up, because we're going to interact with it all up there. So we're going to want to come off of this line, because this block here, particularly the redstone on the block, is what activates this on or off. So to get to that, we're just going to put a repeater right there, and then we're going to run off of this way. Like that. And that will carry down. We have a repeater there. And then we're going to need to start tunneling up, or building up, as the case may be. So that's where the button will be. Right up there. So let's see if we can get one right on top of that. Maybe so I haven't torn the roof out yet. Take care of that. Button. Nope. So that will carry the signal down, and then we'll cover that up with some other what's-its. And it just kind of warps down there. Now again, this is, you know, may seem kind of strange to do it that way. There's better ways to do it. But as I build onto the circuit, you will see that other parts of it will interfere if I just use different methods. And this is all set up for a certain specific way to do this. So, did I put those hoppers back? So disorganized. I apologize. Need more hoppers. Ow. For the love of God. It doesn't hurt when you're constructing these things to build scaffolding early and often. Right. This should be the center one. Right. Yep. So we got this, and this is where all the ingredients will feed in. So we go like that, and then there's just 4 there, because your 5th ingredient is your water bottle in that chain. And I'm just gonna beat the holy hell out of myself doing this. What? Back in there. Now you're gonna need some redstone blocks. And we're just gonna slap them all over that. All up on that. And the reason for doing that, nope, go on the hoppers. Oh, get them around here. Now the reason we put these redstone blocks here is that we don't want our these hoppers here to do any work, really. We just want them to sit there, because we're going to have droppers that push items down in, and then this lower level will pull the items out. But if you don't power these, they'll just pull everything out of there, and you lose your element of control. And I found using the droppers was more consistent and easier to work with, easier to get timed correctly than it was to use hoppers mainly for that. I probably am just overthinking it, but that worked. And I use these redstone blocks here instead of putting a block with like a lever on it because, again, it interfered with some stuff that came up later in the circuit. So, now we need droppers on these blocks. So, we need to get down, and the dropper will go there, so we need to get our droppers. Dropper, dropper, dropper. Ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-bee, ba-ba-boo. Make sure this is facing down. And not out. Can be tricky, so there we go. And I can already see I'm going to be running into problems where I'm going to be hitting my head on the ceiling, getting this stuff in. Alright. And let's just go ahead and make some scaffolding now so we don't kill ourselves. Let's get some hoppers feeding in. And we are ready for our chests. Alright, so if you're running chests side by side, you've got to alternate with these trap chests so they don't connect, and that way you can run a full line over. I can do double chests on these, but I'm pretty happy with the amount of storage that I will have on this, at least in this setup. And I like the front facing on this. So that is our main fill area where we fill this in. I don't have one for the water bottles yet because that is a separate deal. And that needs to feed off the back of this. Because it doesn't read the same, it doesn't activate the same, it doesn't act the same as the rest of them. So we need to go up there, and then up there. Oh, I forgot you could get on like the sides of there. Oh, I'm gonna get out of here. Okay. And then that, and that. And our chest. And we're good to go. So we got our water. I can't open any of these right now. I can't believe I dug all of the space out and I didn't bother to take out the ceiling. It's insane. So your water goes here, and then all the other ingredients are in order. Water, nether wart, spider eye, fermented spider eye, and then gunpowder. And those will fill into the back. Let's go ahead and clean that up right now. Those fill into the back, and so now we need the method of controlling those. So let's get a different color. Red's great to run redstone dust off of. Really, you know, it's more visible than you might think. Okay, so blackety black. Might as well just leave that as air, because that doesn't need to be solid there. All we're doing is feeding power to these. So go a little bit, just get that there. So some scaffolding here. Just lay these in, and then we go through 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, 4 tick, and that just makes sure, because it's a little bit of extra security, that will, in fact, you know, activate in the correct order. Because we want these to enter the hoppers in the correct order and enter in the correct order. We want to make sure they're delayed enough so that everything goes into this hopper here in the right order. Now we got to get signal up there. And where's the signal going to come from? Well, it's got to come from the button. So that when you hit the button, it feeds through the control line. So this is the optimal choice right here to feed up to that. We don't want it running off at this, because we just want it to turn on and then turn off. We don't want this to stay on or stay off. So, you know, you got to make sure that you're running your signal lines off of the correct thing. Now, I would use something colored with this, but there's no colored slab, half slabby stuff, so I'm just going to use this delightful stone brick slabs, as I unofficially leave all about here. And like that. Nope. Not that way. That way. And then this last piece will also be a slab. And so we've got the circuit. You can see it cutting it close there. It runs all the way down. Nice thing with the half slabs. Two nice things. Or three nice things, actually. Number one, you can do this. Half slabs don't interfere with redstone signal, so you can just have this tower straight up, and that redstone will go all the way up to the top. Number two, the redstone won't transfer power down, and that can be useful in a lot of circuits where you need to send signal one way and you don't have room for a repeater, or you don't want to add the delay the repeater adds. That can be useful to make a sort of diode for one-way communication. And number three, you can run these over redstone torches if you need to have one present and you want to run a circuit over it and you don't want it to interfere. You can run it off of a half slab. You can also use glowstone because you can place redstone dust on that, and that kind of acts the same, pretty much the same as this. It won't cut off redstone, allow it to transfer through. It will accept signal up, but it won't send signal down, and it won't take signal from a redstone torch. So that's useful stuff. So we can get rid of that for right now. If I do end up putting scaffolding, it's not going to be in that same color. So that's what we got so far. And that is pretty much enough to keep it operational. It doesn't look too pretty right now. I mean, you can wall this all over and close the ceiling off, and then you're good. And the potions would come out down there, and you can go pick them up. Now, obviously, that's kind of silly, so let's move on to that step next and get that out of the way. But as it stands right now, this is functional. You could put your water bottles in here, all your ingredients in here, they'll fill in, they'll stop at that, you hit the button, mix the potion, and you're good to go. But you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to run these back. So I'm just going to cobble this off here. So we just run it this way. I have to attach in the right order, so it's kind of a pain, just like the droppers. You kind of got to think out as much as you can ahead of time how you're going to get everything out and where you're going to go with it. Obviously, I didn't do that well enough. Kind of get in there. Get one on that. There we go. Beauty. Nice. So that will feed out to our dropper chain, which starts here. So let's go ahead there, and that'll be our first dropper. These are all shooting up. And you can put a chest on there. I myself prefer to put one of these guys, the brewing stand, on there, because I feel it just kind of ties it together. Now it only holds 3, so if you're planning on using this for multiple runs, modifying the circuit for a continuous run, you can just put a chest up there. It's fine. It'll work the same. So then, of course, we need all of our relevant circuitry for this bit. Like that, and just kind of towering up. Gonna go up to the top. Probably have to knock back out the side. Let's see if we can get the rest of this from up top here. Oh, should be fine. And then the last block, we'll just put this as a placeholder for now, and that will allow them all to activate. And just like the chicken cooker, you know, I found you put these on ticks, so anytime something comes in here that fires off, And this delay keeps it active long enough for everything to fire up, because you're only taking a reading from the first dropper. And that delay keeps it from firing up. There's other ways to do this. I like this method because it keeps this flush. So you can have it just kind of in the middle of nowhere. It looks totally flush from the surface. And that I really like. That's important to me. So we're good with that. Let's go ahead. Let's get some bottles here. Fill in some bottles there. Drop off some of our junk. And some of that, and that. Go ahead and fill up some of the stuff here. Take it for a test spin. So put your water bottles in this one. Okay, you put that in there. And keep in mind, like when you're opening the trap chest, kind of freaked me out for a second. You drop something in, you're not going to see it get sucked up right away, because the trapped chest will output a redstone signal while you have it open, so it'll prevent that from going through. That's also useful if you're doing like trash disposal, because it gives you a second to look at it and go, no, I'd rather keep it, instead of going away, so it keeps accidents from happening. Now, what I was saying earlier about it being hard to switch this stuff out is you'll notice all these emptied out. And the stop point for all of that is the droppers in there. You can sort of see them from here. Is your droppers. So that's where the inventory will mostly be held, and this is just where you fill it in. But anyway, let's go ahead and fire it off. You can see that filled in with those bottles. I think it takes, I want to say 20 or 30 seconds per ingredient. So for 4 ingredients, like 2 minutes. Well, that can't be right. Oh, that might be right. So this is basically functional here. Well, or I guess we'll see if this spits out our harming splash potions. If this is basically functional. But everything should be. Everything has looked good so far. And you can fill this in and make it look all neat and tidy. And put some, labels up there so you know where you're putting stuff. And that's good. Right? No. That's not good. It's not good enough. There's still more. There's still so much more you could do with this. And so we're going to wait for that to finish up and make sure it all comes back up here. And we're going to move on to some more advanced steps from this. There we go. 3 splash potions. I love them. I'm just going to leave them in there for right now, because I like how they just kind of appear in there. It's like magic, but it clicks, so it lets you know it's technology as well. I like it. Well, that's all the time I got for this episode. Come back next time, and we'll wrap this project up with some more advanced features, like inventory detection and some stoppage prevention. All kinds of crazy stuff. So thanks for watching. See you next time. So long!